Yo, welcome back, boys. We are man, it's been a minute. It's been
It's
a
been a
minute,
minute.
comment section. I think it's been about 5 weeks. Our bad.
Our
So
bad.
we had a 2 week hiatus that we kind of knew about. Jeff had some family things that he was doing. And it is what it is, 2 weeks, whatever. Problem is when he got back from his 2 weeks, your boy got COVID. So that was 3 more weeks, and here we are.
Yep.
So Jeff is back. I am feeling better mostly. So we're here, and we have a lot of catching up to do. So
Yeah.
our initial plan was every week we would go over what was happening in the preseason, but instead now we're forced to kind of just go over the entire preseason in one episode. So we're going to do our best to cover as many of the things that stood out to us as possible. If we don't talk about your team, it is what it is. Sorry. I mean, we just did, scheduling, it happens. But during the regular season, we will be way more attentive because I wasn't even able to watch many games because I was just asleep all day for like a week straight. So it is what it is. If you guys are excited for us to be back, smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Yeah, Jeff, anything to say?
No, just excited to be back on the show, guys. I mean, it's been a long 5 weeks away from recording, so it's just like we have a lot to go over. So like, I just hope you guys are
Hmm.
excited because there's a lot of topics. And well, I mean, if we don't go over your team today, we'll go over it next week for sure. Because actually, week one is 2 weeks away, about a week and a half,
Yeah,
since it's going to be on a
yeah.
Wednesday.
Next week we're gonna do our. This would be a good one. That's gonna just please everyone, I'm sure. But we're gonna do our predictions next week.
Ooh,
So
stay tuned.
can't wait for that comment section. But let's go ahead and kick things off. So like I said, we're just gonna go over some of the bigger things that everybody was following during the preseason, and one of those things, for me, I am a Saints fan if you're new here, and we had a massive quarterback battle this offseason. I don't think it was really as up in the air as Sean Payton was playing it out to be. But here we are, and Jameis Winston has won. He has come out victorious. It wasn't even close, in my opinion, especially after the Jags game.
Yeah.
And Taysom, and he knew this coming into it. He was at a disadvantage regardless because of the value he brings elsewhere. He would have had to just destroy Jameis Winston in order to win that job. It wasn't going to
Yeah.
be like, oh, Taysom Hill looked a little bit better, because even a little bit better, you're still better off with Jameis Winston and having Taysom Hill do other stuff. So it just is what it is, and I think I know Taysom's probably sad, but at this point, I mean, he's over. He's like 30. I think he's 30 now.
Yeah, he's like 30
I think he
something.
needs to just embrace the role, man. I don't think he's going to be a starter in the NFL. Not that he's not a good quarterback. I just think he's so valuable as just a football player, as a jackknife, or they call him athlete in high school. When they don't know what position they play, they just say athlete. And that's what Taysom Hill is, man. He blocks punts, for God's sake. You know what I mean? He's not just a quarterback. So, and then you had Jameis Winston, just the first game against the Ravens. He did still look better than Taysom Hill, considering he was playing with kind of the third string guys. But he threw one interception that probably wasn't the best throw in the world, but a better receiver probably would have got and at least knocked it down, if not caught it.
Yeah.
Like a Michael Thomas, for example, that's not getting picked off. It's going to either be an incompletion or a completion. Little Jordan Humphrey, while he did have a decent preseason, actually, he's not that guy yet. So it is what it is. He threw it up for his boy, and he didn't come down with it. But other than that, he looked good against the Ravens. And then against the Jags, I mean, he only had to play about 8 minutes
Yeah, for real. It might have been
for
like
the quarterback. Yeah, for the
12
quarterback
minutes.
battle to be done. It was a wrap. 8 minutes into the Jags game. I
That
mean,
was crazy.
and we're gonna talk about Callaway as well, because that was really surprising to most people. But um, Jameis looked really accurate. He didn't. There was multiple times, especially on the drive. I believe it was the second drive of the game. We got a couple of offensive line penalties that backed us up and stalled the drive out. And Tampa Bay Jameis would have tried to force a first down, whereas this Jameis was like, you know
He was
what, dude?
taking like
I
dump
think
offs.
I think Yeah, I think he had somebody on. I think it was on. It might have been First Take, but they were saying like he had Bruce Arians on one shoulder and Drew Brees on the other one, like the devil and the
Yeah.
angel you see in the cartoons. And Bruce Arians was like, throw it, throw it, throw it. And then you had Drew Brees just saying like, bro,
Take the
just
first
take the
down.
punt. Yeah, take the first down. Get us closer to the first down. Maybe we can go for it on fourth. If not, we'll punt. We're good. Our defense is good. Like, and you could tell that he held back.
Yeah. I will
But
say
then he didn't hold back. He did not hold back when Marquez Callaway was going down the field, though. No, he did not. And those two catches, I mean, when you look at them from different angles, the accuracy is actually a little bit mind blowing. Of course, Jameis won a Heisman and he threw for 5,000 yards, so we're not surprised that he has accuracy. But those two balls, I mean, it's exactly what you want. The only person on the face of the universe that could even get their fingertips on that football was the wide receiver. And so he easily won that job that night. It was a guarantee after that.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell that Winston has learned a lot in the past year that he took a seat last year.
Mm.
Like he's way more disciplined than he was over in Tampa Bay. Like he's actually taking dump offs. Like even in that one play you're referring to, like you can tell his eyes are way downfield. He wants to throw that deep ball so bad, but he actually takes a dump off, and it's just like that's how you can tell he's actually growing with the system. Sean Payton has been known for developing quarterbacks, making Teddy look like a god, making Taysom look like a god in the little bit of time he played. But you can just tell this was not even a battle. Like Jameis Winston had this job locked up, and it's just like, but I mean, I'm just me, just not as a Saints fan, but like as an outsider looking into this franchise, like I'm just kind of glad that Sean Payton gave Taysom that chance to show that,
Yes,
hey, like,
absolutely.
look, you've been in line waiting for Drew Brees to retire. You at least deserve a chance to try to see if you can compete for the quarterback one spot. And he did just that this entire preseason. Like, if anything, he gave Taysom way more time than Jameis Winston in that game against the Jags. He was like, look, man, I'm going to leave him here for like 12 seconds, and the rest of the game is yours. You show me what you can do.
Yeah.
And, like, I appreciate that because, like, that's the least he could have done for Taysom. That way, when after the game and after the preseason's over, he can actually sit down and have a one-on-one, man-on-man conversation. Be like, hey, look, like, I gave you a chance. Obviously you saw what he did versus what you did. Like, this shouldn't be one of those things where it's like you shouldn't be mad. Everything should totally understand and like kind of complete, like tell you that like this offense is better with you playing this position and Jameis playing this position. Like it would not have worked the other way around. You can't have Jameis running tight end routes. It just doesn't work like that. So I definitely think that was the right thing to do. Good call. The Saints are going to be deadly. I mean, as long as Jameis plays anything remotely close to what that game was, like it opens up the offense. Michael Thomas might actually be unleashed. He might be able to do actually like instead of slant boy, he could be like everything else but slants boy. Like I'm really excited to see that offense open up for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, let's be honest, Marquez Callaway is not any faster than Michael Thomas, and Jameis Winston was just able to get him open. And listen, you know, I'm going to transition to Marquez Callaway real quick. When he came, he was on our practice squad last year. He got called up. We had some injuries with Emmanuel Sanders, you know, Michael Thomas, Traquan Smith. They were kind of rotating injuries. And so Marquez would come into that wide receiver 3 for, I think he played like 3 or 4 games. And you could like see the hands.
Yeah.
But it was also like, okay, it's an undrafted practice squad guy. He came in, he played pretty okay for a few games. He got hurt. What does that mean, right? And then he comes into camp. We lose all of our wide receivers, basically. All we have is Traquan Smith, right? Like Michael Thomas is out for, you know, at least 6 games.
At least 6 games, yeah.
And then, you know, Deontay Harris is not really he's like a
special teams.
He's a different type of he's a special teams and like a screen pass kind of guy. He's not going to be like a reliable receiver.
No, this was huge for him to step up.
What do? They throw Marquez in there. They're like, "Hey man, you did pretty good at number 2 and 3 last year. Let's see what happens if we put you at wide receiver 1." He was going crazy in camp. And then listen, he wasn't playing any bums, man. When he was in that first drive, which was the only drive he played against the Baltimore Ravens, I had to go back and check because I wasn't 100% sure.
Ankles at least once or twice.
It was
I saw
Peters
some comeback
and
routes. Yeah, it was.
He got Peters. He also got Marlon Humphrey.
Yep.
Marlon Humphrey did play on that first drive. I forgot about that when I had to go back and check the box score. I was like, wait a minute, was Marlon Humphrey playing or not? Because both their numbers end in 4 and
Yeah.
they're kind of similar looking. He, in fact, did get cooked on that first out route by Marquez, and then he comes in against the Jags, and I don't think it was Shaq Griffin in that game. I'm pretty sure it was
Sidney Jones.
oh my God, was it Sidney Jones? Was it C.J. Henderson too? I can't remember. But
I think it was definitely
regardless.
Sidney.
It was guys that are simply just faster than him, but he out-routed them
Yeah.
basically, and he made.
And he, like those
I mean,
percentage,
he's getting
like I feel like the catches that he made, it was like maybe like a 10-15% chance of getting completed.
right.
And the fact that he had,
Right.
like he was able to catch these balls, like that was huge.
Jameis put it. It was like I said earlier. Jameis put it where literally only the receiver can get it, and that was barely right. Like it was like, which is another thing about Jameis in that game. He was like, "I'm not getting picked. I'm gonna throw this deep ball, but it is not getting picked. The only person that's gonna have a chance to get it is my receiver." And Marquez getting grabbed makes a diving catch in the end zone for 1. And then the second one, he's like sliding, and I'm pretty sure he caught it with one hand for no reason. I think he was just flexing. He could have easily used 2 hands there. He was just like, nope, I'm going to get this one with 1.
Yeah.
Because I'm playing at home for the first time in front of fans, and I'm going to show out. Which, by the way, I wanted to start out with this, but if you happen to be watching this and you're from like Louisiana, New Orleans area,
Geez.
hopefully y'all are all right. Hopefully you got out of there before it hit.
Yeah.
I know the Saints aren't even coming back until after September, so the damage is not pretty there. So yeah,
Prayers out to you guys.
praying for you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I hope everybody's all right.
that's just so unfortunate, man. New Orleans is such a beautiful place and like such a unique area, and it just so happens to be located in quite possibly the worst possible place
Yeah, that's just
for natural disasters in America. So it's just really, I don't mean to laugh, but it's really unfortunate that happens. But such is life, and hopefully everybody is
prayers
a-okay
are
and we can
definitely
get
up for
back
you
to
guys.
normal. Mhm.
All right, man. That's just I hate talking about that, man. Like I feel
I know,
bad
it
for all the
sucks.
people, and I know they're out of power for a couple weeks. And if you are watching this, I mean, hey, we hope that things get back to normal. Hopefully that recovery time isn't too bad, and hopefully we can get everything back to normal.
I saw somebody post on Twitter, like, because obviously this storm happened on, if I'm not mistaken, it was the same day as Hurricane Katrina,
which is
when it
eerie.
ultimately. So that is eerie, but what else is eerie is after Hurricane Katrina, the Saints had a new quarterback come in, and it just so happens that they have a new quarterback coming in after this hurricane.
Okay,
And I just thought that was kind of weird. Like, what is that? The universe is so
So,
weird to me
the
sometimes.
Saints never need to change quarterback again because
The Saints only have to, if you're going to change your quarterback, I guess it's good luck to do it after a devastating hurricane. I mean, it's just so weird to me. But yeah, if Jameis Winston ends up being really, really good for whatever reason, because remember Drew Brees was like 25 when he came here, 26, whatever, when he came over here too. So it's just really weird how timing
weird.
in the universe works. It's almost the exact same scenario 15 years later. It's just kind of odd.
All right. So I know you love to talk about your Saints, but we have a bigger, crazier topic
Yes.
that just came out today. We're recording this on Tuesday, the 31st, and this was all we heard, or at least all I heard today on ESPN, and we need to cover
Pretty
it
much,
right
yeah.
now. So the Patriots quarterback battle finally comes to an end.
Mac Jones actually won, man.
Mac Jones won. Cam Newton got cut.
Can't believe it.
Not put on backup, cut, released completely. So a couple of questions come to my mind. So it's just like, A, was this the right move? Like, and just my answer to that question there is just like, okay. I understand the COVID played a factor. Like Cam, like the last big news with him was like I think a week or two ago he had to miss an entire week because of COVID testing protocols. Something about how he got tested offsite, and because it was offsite he couldn't come and practice. So that gave Mac a foot in the door to bond with his team and show chemistry and just kind of take over the locker room. And I guess that's all he needed, because as soon as he got his foot in the door, he was running with his team. And I do feel bad for Cam because he's been working his ass off since, I mean, honestly, since last year to kind of just be a starter, to show that he can still work and be the same guy that he was in 2015 after that injury. But nevertheless, I mean, Mac Jones, look, out of all the rookies that got drafted, we're talking about Trey Lance, Trevor, Zach. This quarterback surprised me the most. I mean, as far as like his body shape and everything, it just does not scream like elite quarterback. But hey, I mean, this guy can throw lasers, and I saw it firsthand. And I can see Bill Belichick, like, obviously, if you're picking Mac in the first round, it's no surprise that he's going to be a starter eventually. It's just a matter of when. Do you start him in the middle of the season? Do you let him sit behind Cam and kind of mentor him for a year, then get rid of Cam? But I guess with this whole entire situation, we just know that Bill Belichick and the Patriots are a no-nonsense kind of team. They don't want to take any type of anything that's going to contradict the team and their winning. Like, honestly, like, we know that if you get COVID and it becomes an outbreak, that's a forfeit for that team, that game. So I guess Bill does not want to take a chance there with Cam because he is unvaccinated. And, I guess that was it. I mean, I guess he released Cam. It was either you get your starter or you're released. There was no backup, because I think Cam doesn't want to be a backup. I think he has way too much pride and ego for that. And I mean, you can't just go from being an MVP to 2015 to just completely being a backup. Like, he won't accept that.
Yeah.
So with that said, I mean, I definitely think there's a place for Cam. Me and Spitz were talking about this before cameras were on, but neither one of us thought Cam was a proper fit for New England in general. It's just like he thrives in these run first play action type of things where, like, he can take off. He kind of complements the run game very well. He complements the play action because Christian McCaffrey, for example, like, everybody's eyes on him. So just like you have a double threat there. Maybe he can go to Baltimore and be a backup. He's willing to swallow his pride. Maybe he can go to the Texans because obviously we think Watson's not going to be a starter this year. But yeah, Mac Jones. I mean, I didn't think it was going to happen this soon, but it happened. It's here. It's done. It's time for Mac. And I think another thing that played along with this was that they're trying to minimize distraction, because, like, if you have a guy like Cam sitting, like, let's just pretend that Cam was okay sitting on the bench behind Mac. How do you think Cam would feel? Like, hey, he's always going to be in Mac's over his shoulder, like, hey, like, I could have made that play, or he's probably just kind of like totally undercutting all of his. It would just be a distraction for Mac. You don't want that. I mean, if you're trying to create a culture and create a franchise quarterback out of Mac, you don't want Cam to kind of just always have something to say. He's just we all know what kind of person Cam is. I mean, he's very. Yeah. I don't even know how to explain it. Eccentric. Just like the way that he dresses, the way that he talks, the way that he is, the way that he carries himself, his ego. It's just, we know who Cam is, and I don't think me personally would ever see him in the backup role, especially behind somebody like Mac Jones. So
I don't know. I don't necessarily. I mean, I'm not sure if he was in the backup role there. I don't know if he would cause a problem, but what would cause a problem would be the media. Because they would be like, the media loves Cam.
They love him.
And, the first sign of struggle from Mac Jones, it would be like, oh, do you put Cam back in? What do you do? And Cam would probably just be quiet at this point in his career. He's like, he's on the downslide at this point. He probably would just be sitting there willing to mentor. But the media would be what's putting the pressure on Mac Jones. But listen, man, when they drafted Mac Jones, I sat here and I said he was going to be ass. And
the same thing.
That's not looking super correct at this point. We'll see what happens in the regular season. He does get the Dolphins defense week 1. That should be a challenge
Tua versus another Alabama quarterback. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, got those corners out there with his kind of below average wide receivers. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But hey, if you ball out against the Dolphins, look at the quarterbacks that ball out against the Dolphins. I can only think of Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. So if you put up numbers against the Dolphins, that's impressive. But you talked about his body type, and it's really hard to do this, but you can't help but think about Tom Brady's body type. Right. And Belichick is probably just like, listen, this guy is more talented out of college, but other than that, he might be seeing a lot of similarities. Yeah. And it's kind of terrifying.
It's good that you said that, because, like, another thing that I thought about was, like, okay, Obviously, we know about the game coming from Tom Brady coming back to the Patriots to play.
Oh yeah.
So I wonder if Bill kind of took that as a factor, like, hey, would it be more satisfying to beat Tom Brady with my rookie quarterback? So people can't give it to Cam, because Cam, pretty sure, you can correct me if I'm wrong in this comment section, but I think Cam Newton is undefeated against Tom Brady. So if Cam Newton were to beat Tom Brady, will Bill be able to take all the credit for him? No. Because I mean, I know it's been like almost like a year now, but there's still the whole debate of like, what made the Patriots great? Was it Bill or was it Tom? Was it the coach? Was it the player? So
Yeah,
this
it
is going
doesn't
to
look
play
good for Bill.
exactly. So if we think that it could be more, it could definitely play a part on Bill's side to have Mac Jones, the rookie quarterback, coaching him to beat Tom Brady in Foxborough. So it's just like, I think that also might have a factor.
Which, by the way, is not going to happen.
I don't think so. I think Tom Brady's going to come in there.
Throwing that out there. I'm not sure if the Buccaneers are even going to lose a single game, to be honest with you.
17-0?
Like, it's a little bit rough. They might lose. The only thing I could think of is a division game. Maybe if Jameis Winston's looking really good, they lose in New Orleans, or maybe they lose in...
Yeah, Bruce Arians knows
because, you know, the division games are always hard, but I looked at their schedule and I was just like, I'm not really saying. We'll do more of a deep dive next week, but maybe not 17-0, but 15. It's definitely possible for them to have an insane record next year.
Yeah. So I guess a couple more questions with this outcome here is, so like, where do you see Cam going? Like, obviously the first thing on my mind is Texans. Just because of Watson.
I want Cam to go to Washington. I want him to go to Washington.
Washington.
Go back with Ron Rivera. We know they have Fitzpatrick, but he fizzles out after a few weeks every time he gets a starting job.
Do you think Ron is willing to take him back? Is my question. Like, do you think he's going to be willing to take, because he just got Fitz. We know Fitz is kind of, 50-50, but like, you just got Fitz. You just taught him the entire scheme, the whole entire playbook. Do you think he's going to bring in a quarterback with 2 weeks left to play until the first game of the season, just to teach it all to Cam? And
well, it's like I said earlier. I mean, it's going to be a lot of this, at least the passing portion of the scheme is going to be relatively the same.
Right.
He would just reinstate some of the QB design runs, I guess, if he even wants to do that. Like, that's up to Cam at that point. Like, Cam, do you even want to run? Like, or do you just want to sit there and pass? Like, you're old, you're injured. You can just sit in the pocket and throw if you want to. Like, because if that's the case, then he more than likely knows the majority of the playbook already.
Well, let's play along that then. So, if let's just say that's a possibility, why wouldn't Ron have done that last year? Because they were still in the same kind of situation as last year. They really didn't have a quarterback. I think that to start last year, I think there was definitely a belief in Dwayne Haskins, and that fell apart as we know, when Dwayne Haskins was just acting like an absolute idiot. Yes, because like I said, last year they had Haskins, they believed in Haskins, that fell apart, but it was okay because they knew they had Alex Smith. Now it's like they only have Fitz, and what happens if Fitz fizzles out? They're going to put their trust in Heineke, who very well could be. Heineke's been in the NFL for a goddamn long time. There's a reason why he's not a starter, right? So he came in from one game and looked great, yeah, but guess what? The Buccaneers didn't know who he was. You get a whole if he's playing quarterback, teams are going to know who he is and what he is, and yeah. So, not to mention, if you're the Buccaneers and you have quite literally the best roster in the league, and you find out that he was like the QB 3 or 4 is starting, you're probably going to take the night off, and then all of a sudden they were like, oh shit, we might lose this game. But anyways, no, you can't. In my opinion, out of Cam, Fitz, Heineke, Cam gives them the best chance. Cam Newton on the Washington, I mean, Dallas is really good. Cam Newton on Washington probably would make me pick them to win the NFC East, probably. Yeah.
Just because of that defense. Dallas's defense is still questionable. I think Dallas has a superior offense to anybody in that
for sure.
division, but the best all-around team, I think, would be Washington, because Cam didn't throw a lot of touchdowns last year because that's just how it worked out, but he was the most accurate he's ever been. So,
yeah.
I think you just put that with a better defense in Washington. Not that the Patriots are bad, but I don't know. I think Fitz is going to throw for like 400 yards a game, for the first 3 weeks. We're going to be like, oh my God. And then you know how it goes. And I think it would be nice for them because, like I said, Cam doesn't have to start right away.
No.
Bring him in and be like, hey Cam, we're gonna wait for Fitz to fizzle out, and then you'll come in. And I'm sure he just wants to play football, man.
I know.
That's it.
All right. So if you take Washington football team, I'm going to go with Texans, just because I don't think. Obviously, we know Watson's not going to play. I'm just going to assume that it's awkward as hell if he does play because he's already told the team to pretty much go, fuck off, and the players like y'all suck. And I highly doubt it. I think he's just there just so he can kind of get that media off his back. Like, hey, I'm here. I'm doing my job. Leave me alone. And I mean, well, let's just assume that he, doesn't play. Then you have Tyrod Taylor as your starting quarterback. That's not happening. Okay. So I just think they sign Cam for 1 year just to, kind of get through until they figure it out, until they get that trade happening with Watson, and then they can figure it out then. But I say go to
my
Texans.
only thing about Houston is why. Like, if I'm Houston, it's just why. I'll just go 0-17. Who fucking gives a shit? Get your first number 1 pick, draft a quarterback. There's some decent quarterbacks next year. I see literally no reason for Houston to have a desire to win games next year. Their team is complete. Like they need help. They need draft help. They need the best draft capital possible. And if you bring in Cam Newton, they might end up with 4 or 5 wins. Kind of like. They might put themselves in a situation, not like the Jets, but sort of, where you win too many games and fuck yourself. So it's like, if I'm the Texans, I'm just like, you know what? Tyrod Taylor, go have some fun. Oh, you don't want it, you get hurt or whatever, you're not playing well. Davis Mills, let's just see what you got, dude. Because what's the point? Like, there's literally no, outside of honestly, the fans probably don't even want you to win. They're probably just like, oh, this is horrible. Just get us a new quarterback.
Get us a new team.
Yes. You got and we don't know how the draft's going to shade up, but you got guys like Rattler and all these guys coming into the draft next year that are like, people have their eyes on them. And it's like, if you're Houston, hello, your biggest hole is quarterback. Take. I mean, that's, as much as people hate that word, it worked out for Jacksonville. The Jets got lucky that it worked out for them. We're going to talk about that later, but they almost screwed themselves, but they didn't. Okay. It works out. It works out all the time.
Either way, I do wish Cam, good luck. I mean, you're definitely a locker room guy. The people in the locker room love you. And you have a huge fan base. The media is always on you. I just definitely think there's a home for you. We just don't know where, and hopefully we'll know soon. So what's next on the docket?
Next, we have the Broncos quarterback battle, and Teddy Bridgewater has come in and sniped the job from Drew Lock.
Interesting.
Kind of surprised me. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know how that's going to go. I really don't. I don't know, because Teddy Bridgewater looked pretty good in Sean Payton's offense, and then he went to Carolina, and they just did not put him in a position to succeed at all. And so I don't know what's going to happen with him getting the Broncos job. When they traded for him, I guess we all kind of thought like, well, why would they trade for him if they're not going to start him? He's making a lot of money. But
it's still surprising,
I don't know.
Even though it happened.
It is really,
like, even though we know it was kind of going to happen. Drew Lock wasn't bad in preseason.
What surprises me is just that, they just, like, hello, Mac Jones and Justin Fields. You could have why didn't they draft a quarterback, Jeff? I don't understand,
Justin Fields should have been. It's still a meme to this day.
Understand.
Like, you had Justin Fields right in front of you. You could have had it. You honestly
could have
been a playoff team with Justin Fields. Just saying. The Broncos is so interesting to me because they have the roster. It's so good. The roster is so good.
That's why Aaron Rodgers is linked there.
And it's just like, damn. All you guys need, you just one quarterback away from possibly winning. Honestly, maybe another Super Bowl.
It's like the Colts. Same thing.
It's crazy. So it's just
they're both teams that are just loaded everywhere except for quarterback.
It's just like, okay, let's just assume that you guys do okay with Teddy, and you win like 5 or 6 games. What's the plan then? Like, are you going to do a quarterback? Right. Because why didn't you do it in this draft if that was your plan for the? I'm just trying to figure out what's their long-term plan. Their
long-term plan, 150 million%.
Wait for Aaron Rodgers.
Just assuming that Aaron Rodgers is going to want out next year, which I do think is the case. I do think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, me too.
Because he wouldn't have put those stipulations in returning of like, hey, I'm going to play this year, but you have to let me do what I want next year. He wouldn't even have put that in there if he wasn't
Like
planning
that
on going
was the
somewhere else.
compromise. I'll play for you one more
Right,
year, but you gotta let me go, and to wherever I want to go.
right. Which I would think is Denver because there's no reason to go to Las Vegas. Another thing we'll talk about. But
Yeah,
that
yes.
narrows the list down quite a bit. 49ers have their quarterback already, so Denver screams Aaron Rodgers to me, but we'll see what happens with that. But and that could be why they didn't draft a quarterback. Maybe, maybe they were just like, well, we're gonna get Aaron Rodgers one day, so we'll just stick with Teddy
Just
Bridgewater
ride
for
it out
now.
one more
I hope he
year.
does well. I do like Teddy Bridgewater, and I really want him to recover from that injury and get back to being a starting quarterback. But it just depends on if that's the right offense for him. Because the way Carolina's coaching staff was calling plays, I mean, they were acting like he was Tampa Bay Jameis, just sling that bitch, and that's just not what Teddy Bridgewater does. So hopefully the Broncos call a little bit better scheme for him to be successful. And poor Drew Lock, man. But to be fair, you've had your
Yeah,
chance,
you had
bro.
like 2 seasons, I think.
Yeah, you had your chance, and it's just not working out. So,
Yeah.
Denver actually, well, maybe not, because depending on how long, like, let's say Cam Newton is not signed.
Ooh,
If Teddy Bridgewater is not playing well, that's another one that might take a look at Cam Newton. Now that I'm thinking about it, because there's no point in putting Drew Lock back in. That ship has already sailed. You've already
yeah.
seen what that looks like.
Broncos is so interesting,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, really interesting.
Well, either way, Denver, there's not much more of a wait. Maybe one more year, and you're gonna know for sure what's going on.
If y'all get Aaron Rodgers, we don't even have to play the season next year, in my
Bro,
opinion.
let's
Bro.
just
Well, just skip to the Broncos and Chiefs game in the
yeah.
playoffs, and then just go ahead and put the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl and wait for
Ooh.
them and see what happens. Regular season won't matter.
Pat
For
Mahomes
being
and Aaron
real.
Rodgers in the same conference. Ooh.
And Josh Allen as well
Oh
over
God, and Lamar. Hopefully looking
there.
for
Yeah,
his
and
first
Lamar. AFC is cracked right
Sheesh.
now, dude.
ring. All right.
Honestly, there's so much. The whole NFL, there's just so much talent right now.
I feel like the
It's
AFC is
ridiculous.
full of young guys right now. Like maybe Ben Roethlisberger is the oldest person, and after that, everybody's
Yeah.
like below 25. It's awesome.
Well, the AFC East I saw today is the first time since like 1973
Yeah,
or
it was crazy. I
four
saw
that the entire division's starting quarterbacks are under 25.
It's crazy.
I'm like, oh my god! So the potential of that division for the next
10.
12 years is ridiculous.
Sheesh. Speaking of potential, Trevor Lawrence
boy.
and the Jags. I can't wait to talk about this with you guys because that's my theme team this year, guys. If you guys don't follow my channel, that's Jags. So anyway, Trevor Lawrence. We saw
Trevor Lawrence,
the first 3 games in preseason, right? And
he's in trouble.
that's the question. Is he in trouble behind that line? Like, let's just
Yes.
go back to the Saints game. Jags versus Saints. That line got eaten alive. He had maybe 2 seconds to throw that ball. And it got to the point where Urban had to call play action just to give him some space. Like, there was
And
no,
that
you couldn't do
first,
shotgun. You couldn't do under center. You
yeah,
had to do play action. It was bad.
that first drive or two, just so everybody's aware, I think they were only missing one starter. I think Norwell didn't play.
Norwell
But I
and
believe
there's one more. Norwell, the center. Brandon Linder, thank you.
Linder,
So they
yeah.
were missing 2.
But the problem was their starting tackles. Those were the guys that were getting
Juwan
abused.
Taylor, which
That's
is
the
supposed to
problem.
be good.
Marcus Davenport was annihilating Juwan Taylor. Like, it wasn't even close.
Davenport looks like what they wanted him to be. Finally.
Yeah, the Jags made Davenport look like Aaron Donald, dude.
So with that
That's how
said,
bad it was.
okay, obviously the best person on that team is Trevor. He's the most gifted. He is the most talented. And now I've seen that we're getting rid of people. Like, we got rid of Sidney Jones. You're getting rid of EDN is hurt. And so it's just like, what is going to make of this team? Like, I feel like there's a lot of stuff on this plate right now for Trevor and Urban. Like, he only took the job because of Trevor, right? Now, like, it's going to take a couple of years to get this team right. Obviously, there was not much left. There was not much here when he took over. You have a couple of wide receivers. You got Miles Jack. You got Trevor. Other than that, what do you have? Not a whole lot. I like Laviska Shenault. I like DJ Chark. And, you got, I guess the plan for this draft was to make it to where he is not under pressure so much. Get another running back, reinforce that run game. And I think they got a lineman in the second round. But, I mean, still, even with all of that said, he still looks like he's in trouble. So was it the right move to give Minshew away to the Eagles? And me personally, because I'm a big fan of Trevor, if you guys don't know, I think Minshew should have stayed in there for at least the start of the season. Kind of let him take all the beating just to see how it feels. Because that first couple games, besides the Texans, I'm hoping that's a win for the Jags.
He should be
Anyway,
okay in that one, yeah.
other than that, I think Minshew should start just because let him get used to the speed of the game because he even said himself that he's holding on to the ball too long. He's getting used to the speed of the NFL. These you're not sitting behind a college line where you kind of just you can sit there and just kind of wait for something to happen and you got to know what it looks like to have an open receiver. That could be like a step or two. It's not going to be like a whole bunch of separation like it would be in college.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said,
and he gotta learn. He gotta learn how to. This isn't college, man. You gotta slide. He got annihilated trying to run over. I don't even remember who it was.
yeah.
He tried to run over somebody on the Saints, and he
Oh
got
my
hit
God,
from
you
both
can't take hits
sides.
like that, man. You scared me, bro.
He almost took himself out for the year with that one. That was dangerous.
Now, with that said,
But
he did look better in the next game against the Cowboys. I think he threw his first
Well,
touchdown. He had like a really nice
Cowboys-
back shoulder. He hit like Laviska Shenault 3 times in a row. Finally got him a touchdown. Like he looked really good
it's the
there, and
Cowboys
it's the
defense.
Cowboys. I'm just saying,
Their
like,
defense is
so
ass.
we got the Saints defense and you got the Cowboys, so you can kind of see, just get him a little bit more help because they can hold off the Cowboys, but you can't hold off somebody like the Saints. So it's like obviously they're not going to be a playoff team. They're not a team in contention right now. But I just it was getting rid of Minshew the right move, and what's the next moves for the Jags is my question. Like, was starting Trevor Lawrence on day one the right thing to do?
They need to. Well, first of all, they need to fix their offensive line, and
Well, how do you do that?
I mean, I'm just sitting here as we're about to turn the clock to September 1st, and I just can't help but notice that Mitchell Schwartz
It's still available.
is still available. And I feel like if you're the Jags, I mean, why not? I know he's coming off an injury, but shit,
It's
I
got to
just
be
watched,
better than AJ Can and a couple of
exactly. Like I just watched, I didn't watch the Cowboys one, but the Saints were playing their starters for quite a decent amount of time in that first half on defense, and Saints have a pretty good defensive line, but I'm not gonna sit here and say it's the best. But it was not good at all. That was when I was watching that game. I was just like,
constantly under pressure.
yeah, and I was just thinking like, it looked kind of like what was happening with the Bengals when they played Washington and Burrow ultimately got injured. It was like nonstop quarterback hits, and I was just thinking to myself like, don't make the mistake that they made with Joe Burrow and put him out there with this terrible offensive line, and then on top of that, never hand the ball off and just drop back and pass the whole game. I really hope Urban Meyer doesn't do that. Because if he is dropping back 40 times a game, I don't care what the score is, if he is dropping back 40 times a game behind those tackles,
Yeah.
that makes me nervous.
I mean, you got to get that run game going. I know ETN is out, but you still have James Robinson, who was a breakout rookie. I mean, you still have guys like that can kind of move it around a little bit. At least take off the pressure. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm definitely concerned about this situation. Again, we probably won't see it for at least another. Again, the Texans, I don't think it's gonna be a big deal. But if you come across any good defensive line, I don't know, the Colts, Saints. There's so many other teams that have good defensive lines. Buccaneers.
You play the Colts twice,
So-
so
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's definitely a concern. I hope that just look at Burrow and look at the situation and please try to. I mean, again, sign some guys. I mean, it's not week 1 yet. You still got some time. People are still trying to cut rosters back. They're trying to get to that 53-man roster. Maybe you can find something good.
yeah.
I mean, you got people leaving. You just wait for John Gruden to drop somebody good. And you never know. We'll probably see something happen. But hey, just stay safe on that line, man, Trevor. Ooh,
Yeah.
All right, next one. Another rookie, number 2 pick, Zach Wilson.
Jets got bailed out.
He got bailed out.
Jets got bailed out. Just got bailed out for blowing the tank. They really did. Y'all are lucky, man. Just saying. You're lucky that this was such a deep class at quarterback,
Yeah.
because missing out on Trevor Lawrence should have been a fat L. But Zach Wilson looks perfectly fine. So, congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, he looked really comfortable. Like the thing that I like about Zach Wilson, he looked extremely poised. Like it looks like he's been just in that
Yes.
offense for a while. Like he felt like he was already comfortable. He's just kind of slinging it around. He made Corey Davis look good for the first time in like 3 or 4 years. Like I'm like, this is crazy. Like the Jets are, and they're actually making moves to make that team look better. It's just, yeah. I mean, you definitely guys got bailed out for sure. I mean, there was the whole Deshaun Watson. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get that. We're gonna Trevor's gonna come to, but no, Zach Wilson. I think that, and then I think the head coach that you guys picked out is really good. I like him.
Yeah.
I think he's really smart, defensive mind. Yeah, Zach Wilson looked good. I mean, I didn't have any doubts that he wouldn't. I mean, he's a number 2 pick, and I saw that pro day that he did, slinging that thing for like 90
Yeah.
yards. It was
Right.
ridiculous. But I'm just like, I'm glad that we're seeing it. It's not. It just wasn't on tape. It's just like something that we're going to see week in, week out. And I'm excited to see these young quarterbacks. Like I said, the AFC. Like again, that's a bunch of young guys, and it's really cool to see that. Like this is our future for the NFL for quite a while. We're going to see guys like this playing every single week, and they're good.
Right. Huge fat monster L for the Jets though is Carl Lawson being out for the season. That sucks.
Did they plug that in with somebody else though? I think they did. They
They just traded for Shaq Lawson,
Okay.
which is just not. It is what it is, but it's just an unfortunate loss for
You
them.
just paid him big too, the same that I think Trey Hendricks got paid, right?
Yeah, he got paid 15 million a year.
So L.
Really unfortunate. Really big L because it's going to take a lot to be competitive in the AFC East right now with those other 3 teams, especially if Mac Jones is good. It still looks like the Jets are at the bottom, so they need all the help they can get. Losing maybe your best player on defense, besides maybe like Marcus May,
Yeah.
sucks.
Well, since we're talking about the AFC East, I think we had this a little bit down the docket a little bit, but we'll bring it up now since it's kind of like we're still in that division. So the
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins, let's just talk about them for a quick minute. So
Oh yeah,
we'll just
Dolphins, dude. First of all, yeah, because so I was watching the first Dolphins game. I know you didn't get to catch it. You were kind of in and out of work or whatever. Guys, Tua looks great. Tua looks fantastic, dude. He's throwing super, super accurate
yeah.
balls, tight windows. Um, very, very impressive. Not, he's mobile, but he's not looking to run, which is always something that I like to see. Um, and so
But
therefore, I'm very confused why Deshaun Watson's name keeps coming up.
yeah,
I
right.
just don't. I understand Deshaun Watson is incredible, right? I understand. I totally understand. But the fact that it's still really unknown his situation right now, why is this even being entertained? And apparently, it's coming from the owners. Brian Flores, the coach, is trusting in Tua 100%, and so is the team. I guess the ownership
I'll,
is the ones that really wants Deshaun Watson, and that's probably because of the national media attention that would bring them. But the fans love Tua, dude. Oh my God, Dolphins Twitter is obsessed
yeah.
with Tua Tagovailoa, dude. It's actually almost annoying.
Uh,
Every time somebody tweets about Tua, it gets retweeted a million times, and I'm just like, oh my God. But he looked really good, man. I mean, there's just no reason to give, and I would feel really, really bad if he got sent off to the Texans, bro. I really would. I really hope that doesn't happen.
I'm with you. I definitely am. I think, after going back and watching some of the highlights there, Tua does look good. But trying to
Mhm.
think of it on a business standpoint, like if you think your roster is there, you barely missed the playoffs. You should have been in the playoffs, but there's only a couple spots and you kind of missed it by a little bit. Do
Mhm.
do you think Tua is as good as Watson?
Well, that's where the owners come in for
That's what I'm
100%.
saying. Like
That's
Watson
100%. Yeah,
could get you to the Super Bowl or playoffs. Tua's going to win you 10 or 11
Watson.
games, 12 games for sure.
Yeah.
Like Tua's not bad. He's going to win you games. He's going to win you 10 or 11 to 12 games at least. Then you have
Hmm.
Watson, who I think is more talented than Tua. Tua's
He
very
is.
small, and he's just
Watson, if Watson's not going, if Watson's not suspended or not going to jail or whatever the situation ends up being, if he's good to go, he's what are we saying? You got Mahomes. Is he the second? But like he's up there. He's
he's
like top
probably
three,
top 5 at least.
five minimum. I'd probably say top three active because he did just like I'm pretty sure he led the league in yards, or
Exactly.
it was close to it last year.
And
So
he only
like
had Cooks and what, Kiki Cutie last year? Like
that's what I'm saying. He had nothing last year. So
Will Fuller?
it's like you make a good point. It's like it's a really rough
Like
place to be for Dolphins owners. Obviously, the coach is going to believe in his players. The fans are going to believe in their players. But when you're an owner and a GM,
your goal is to get a Super Bowl.
It's really fucking hard to not take a potential like top 3 or 4 quarterback in the entire NFL, even if you think Tua is good. It's like you're still upgrading.
Can you imagine
I understand
Watson in that
Yes.
team? Like you got Waddle, you got Will Fuller, you got Jakeem Grant, like
So I understand
Parker,
it from both. I understand it from both sides. I understand the Dolphins fans really wanting to keep Tua, and I understand the owners wanting Deshaun Watson. I get it from both ends. But either way, the Dolphins are really good.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. Is it's kind of a win-win
Like,
almost.
do you want to win your division possibly, or do you want to try to get into the playoffs and win a Super Bowl possibly? Like that's what you got to decide. You know what you're going to get with the Tua.
And Deshaun's young too, so it's not like you're only going to get
that's a franchise
2 years. Yeah, it's not like you're getting Tom Brady for 2 years to win a Super Bowl. Like it
could be a dynasty.
You're getting, yeah. It's rough. That's a rough spot to be in. That's stressful for the Dolphins upper management. It really is. Because I don't think it's that they don't believe in Tua. It's just what you're saying. It's the fact of like we're immediately better right now. If we get Watson, like we don't know how
it's
good
like the
Tua
Ram
could
situation.
Be.
Like, do you want to roll with Goff, who could win you 10 or 11 games if he's healthy, or do you go get Matthew Stafford, who's going to immediately put you in playoff and Super Bowl contention? Same situation.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different.
Tua's better than Goff right now.
Goff reached his potential already. Tua could very well be on in 3 years. He could be on the top 5. You know, we don't know. We have no clue. So it's definitely weird. You spent your top 5 pick on Tua, 2 years ago, and it's like, it's hot. That's hard, man. That's a tough decision to make. Because your fans are gonna fucking hate you if you give up on Tua, but it's like at the same time, eventually y'all will embrace Deshaun Watson too, unless he assaulted women. Then you probably won't. But we'll never. I feel like we're never gonna know.
We're never gonna know. They did a very good job of sweeping that under the rug. After
it's just like one of those things where like the FBI jumped in, and then we just haven't heard anything from the lawyers and stuff anymore. It's really starting to feel like a big giant pile of cap to me. Which is unfortunate if that's the case. But, innocent until proven guilty, I guess, is how we have to, everybody likes to jump on cancel culture, but I need somebody to prove that it's true because it's just really weird that the FBI would come in. And this was like a month ago. Yeah. And there hasn't been a single peep since then. You know what I mean? Like, not a single word. It's just kind of like a waiting game that needs to hurry the fuck up because the season's about to start.
Yeah. All right. I like talking about that, but I got something else I want to talk about too real quick. So the Bears.
Oh boy.
Preseason looked really good with Fields. I know every single Bears fan is thinking the same exact thing. It looked really, really good with Fields. But Dalton is the quarterback anyway. Do you think that's the right move?
Yes, because their offensive line is also terrible. And unlike other teams in the NFL, they're going to go ahead and put Andy Dalton in harm's way instead of risking their brand new rookie quarterback.
So you think that's what
what we just talked about? Yeah. What we just talked about with the Jags
this is the flip.
The Bengals last year. This is the flip side. And it's really awkward for Andy. This is going to be really, really hard for Andy Dalton because all preseason long, the Bears fans have just been chanting Justin Fields' name all game.
Actually,
yes, and Justin to the point where Justin Fields had to come out and actually ask the fans to stop doing that because it was disrespectful to Andy Dalton, who's been a professional quarterback for 10 years now or whatever, and he has earned the respect, to not be booed for no reason, right?
And
but god damn it, I really like Justin Fields though. God damn. What I saw from him, I was just like, wow, how did he fall to 10? Like I feel like there was a lot of mistakes here. What was it 10? I think it was 10. Or was it
around
11?
10 or 11, 12.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
And everybody was kind of questioning certain things about him, and I'm just watching this, and I'm like,
Are you
Holy
dumb?
shit. Yeah,
Denver?
I was just thoroughly impressed with because everybody's talking about like him making his reads late and stuff, and I just didn't really see that too often this preseason.
I definitely think this
But
was
he's
the right
fast
call
as
for sure,
he
though.
is fast as absolute shit. He is not a run first quarterback at all. Which, like I said, I like mobile quarterbacks that don't try to run first. I know that's people's gripe with Lamar Jackson. He's like a run. I like guys that stand in the pocket, but then can get away when they have
You
to.
can.
And damn, he's fast, bro. Holy smokes, he's like unexpectedly fast.
Yeah.
I like him a lot, but he's not gonna. Nope, Andy Dalton, take the hits, Andy Dalton, dude. I would like for him to not start at all. As much as I want to watch him play, and it's very possible that he'll be the starter like halfway through. I'm just a big advocate for protecting your. There's no reason to rush it, man. Aaron Rodgers sat in the bench for like 4 years, 3 years, dude.
But then you have the flip,
There's
like
no
Peyton
reason.
Manning, who threw the most interceptions as a rookie ever, and then he turned out the way he
Yeah,
did.
he looked like ass. Yeah, exactly. Which is, by the way, which is why people need to lay off Jameis Winston for a fucking second and give him a
Like
chance.
Peyton Manning was one of
Dude.
those advocates where he was thrown to the Wolves week one, threw the most interceptions ever, and on a rookie
Yeah,
season, and then he became a god. So
yeah.
I
I
see
don't know,
both
man.
sides. But no, I definitely think this was the right call because I think there was one play I saw that uh Fields got hit so hard his helmet came off. I'm like, yup.
Oh yeah, I saw
Dalton
that.
gets
Yeah,
in here right now,
that was
please.
against.
So
That was the Bills game. Yeah, he almost got freaking murdered.
definitely need good call for sure. I wish they would do it with Trevor, but
Bears fans, chill the fuck out, man. Stop booing. Like, this is why people don't want to play there, man. Like, this is what happened to Mitch.
who ended up
You know what I mean?
we're gonna talk
Like,
about Mitch in a minute.
yeah.
But yeah.
Like, damn, get this guy. Like, you're booing Andy Dalton. He hasn't even played a single regular season game yet. Golly, bro, let him suck first before you start booing. Jesus Christ, it's the same thing in Philly, bro. Y'all be too antsy sometimes. I feel like. I know everybody's excited about Justin Fields, but the coach already said that Andy Dalton is starting from day one. No matter what happens in the preseason, Andy Dalton is starting. So stop booing him, man.
Just give him like a week 6, week
Give
7.
him,
You guys will get what
if
you want.
if you guys are fucking 2-4, then you can boo Andy Dalton, bro. But until then, and by the way, it might not even be Andy Dalton's fault. It could be your bum ass head coach, but who knows?
Just remember that Joe Flacco still started for Lamar Jackson, and then I think this was around like 7 or 8. Lamar still took us to the playoffs after that. So it's totally possible, just because of you Bears fans, I know that like, well, if we start Dalton, we're not going to go to playoffs. You still could, Dalton could probably win you 2 or 3 games. Fields comes in, you get like a little win streak going, boom, playoffs. It happened. It's already happened, so
Also, you shouldn't have playoff expectations anyways. Your team's not that good.
bam.
Playoffs would be like just like last year. Making it at all would be a huge W.
Well,
And
speaking
then
of
you can go ahead and cut your quarterback that went 6-0 to lead you there in the first place.
well, yeah, we'll move on from the Bears. I don't want them to get too angry at us from Chicago. It's like, just kidding. I'll get mad at this. Mitch Trubisky is looking good with the Bills.
He said, "Just kidding."
I know.
Yeah, he does, and that's why it's what I was kind of questioning Matt Nagy there for a second. I don't really. It already looked bad last year when they benched him after he was like, what was their record, like 0-2 or something like that, and they benched
For
him.
Nick Foles, who ended up
Nick Foles
pooping
came
the
in
bed
and looked
there.
like absolute
Yeah.
dog shit, and then Trubisky came back in, already knowing that he was going to leave in the
and lit it up
offseason.
anyway.
He came in and was like, hold this 6-game win streak, hold this playoff game, and then adios. Fuck you guys. That's kind of how that went.
So,
And now he's going to sit one season behind Josh Allen.
who could be the MVP this year, which is excellent place for him to be.
Right. He looked great in the preseason. He's going to learn a lot
He's
of stuff.
competing for a starting job next year, I think.
Yes, he's competing for a starting job. We don't know where that's going to be at. We don't know who's going to need a quarterback, but whoever does,
He looked really good.
it's going to be Mr. Trubisky. And the Bears fans better hope that he's ass. They really better hope. Oh my God!
That would be so
even
satisfying,
if Justin,
bro.
yeah, like Justin Fields, I do believe in Justin Fields, but like if Mr. Trubisky goes somewhere and is like actually really good, that would just be such an L.
Damn. I'm just trying to think of all the different places that Mitch could go. Like, it's going through my mind right now, like where he could go to like go up
Yes,
against
there's
the
a lot of-
Bears and show them like, hey, you guys really fucked up and got rid of me. Now look at me now. Like I think that would be such
Well,
a
the
great moment.
Vikings is a
I was thinking
possibility
about them
potential.
because honestly, I think Kirk should
Maybe
have been
even the
gone
Lions.
if he wasn't owed that much money. Like he's already
Yeah.
COVID. He already made that whole thing a problem with like I think 3 quarterbacks were out at one time just because of Kirk Cousins, and yeah, I
He
mean,
said he was gonna build like a plastic like container for himself in the locker room to or some shit
yeah,
like
it
that. I was
was
like, what are you talking
no, it's
about, bro?
stupid. You're gonna cost yourself a game just because you don't want to get vaccinated, and just that's not gonna. I mean, honestly, again, I think he should have been gone if it wasn't for the contract. He would have been gone already. So
Yeah, I think they're
Mitch
gonna
could
kind
come in there,
of.
tell the Bears to hold this, and that would just be such a satisfying moment for me to watch. But then again,
We're not hating on the Bears comment section. We just don't like the way they handled Mitch Trubisky. Is all.
yeah, I'm still bitter by
I don't have
that.
a problem. Don't have a problem. Well, I do have a little bit of a problem with freaking bum ass Javon Wims acting like he's a tough guy against the Saints. But whatever.
Well, Chauncey kind of,
Fucking
yeah.
Chauncey shut that shit down real quick. You punched him in the head twice and he didn't even flinch.
Mhm. All right,
Good times.
we'll stop.
Then you got Akeem Hicks barking like a dog over Drew Brees when your team is down by 15 points in the playoff game in the fourth quarter. But whatever. We move on.
We move on. All right,
Like the Bears started a rivalry with the Saints
for
this
no
year for
reason.
no absolute reason whatsoever. There was literally no
The
reason
Bears had no
for that to
business in
happen.
the playoffs last season. Okay, no
They had
business
no
at
business in
all.
the playoffs. There was absolutely no bad blood at all until the regular season game, and I was just like, what am I watching right now? Like, why are we doing this?
Mhm.
So funny.
This wasn't on our docket originally, but I do want to talk about it just because we have so many Bengal fans that we talk to on a weekly basis. So Jamar Chase,
Oh God.
yeah, he's.
Oof, bro.
Is this a
Yeah.
concern? Obviously, okay. We'll talk about it. He's been dropping quite a few passes. Now from the game that I saw, yes, it was a backup quarterback, and sure, it's not Joe Burrow, and I get it. The chemistry's not there, whatever. He didn't play a whole year his last year in college. I get that, but these
Mhm.
balls look totally catchable to me. And if you are
Yeah, there
the
was one.
third or fourth overall pick in the end, what was it? What pick was that? Fourth, fifth,
It was
sixth? Regardless,
yeah, I
your
think
top.
it was five. It was five. It
Okay,
was five.
if
It
you're a
was five.
top 5 pick, you can't be doing that. I mean, like you've got expectations. You've got. You can't be doing that. I understand. I get it. I'm trying to see two sides of the coin here. Like you've been out. You're trying to build that chemistry, but I mean, you did play with Joe Burrow in the LSU. I mean, it's not like I know Joe Burrow didn't play. He only took like 3 snaps the entire preseason. I know, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying like. There's no reason for that. I don't know if I'm not concerned yet. I'm not saying he's a bust. Don't light me up in here, comes. I'm just don't light me up yet. I'm not saying he's a bust. I'm just saying I'm a little concerned. Is this going to be
It
a
was
habit?
concerning. It was concerning that it happened again in the next
Because
game
we don't
after
want this
that
to be
one.
another John Ross situation, right? So,
Yeah, the fact that he dropped again in the next game, I was like,
and he
oh
dropped a lot
boy.
in practice from what I heard. So,
Yeah, but there was one of the drops in the first one that was what they call it, a hospital ball, where he was like, nope, not today, not in the preseason. I'm not
oh
getting hit
yeah,
right.
Landon Collins was
You
about
saw
to
that
light him
safety coming
up, bro,
across. Yeah, he was
against
like, nope,
Washington,
this ain't worth it. Which I like
I
that.
think.
That is a smart decision in the preseason to do that. Like you might take the L for quote unquote dropping the pass, but I'll take that every single day of the week over getting lit the fuck up in the preseason game for
Okay,
no
well, we can
reason.
write that one pass off. There were still like
Yeah,
maybe
but
two
the
or
other
three other
ones
ones that
and
definitely comfortable.
the one in the second game, I didn't watch that game. I saw a highlight though. It looked like it might have been a screen pass. It was a very short pass and it just went right through his hands. And I was like, oh boy, dude. Because what concerns me is that shit gets in your head, bro.
Like a kicker. You miss
It,
one
it
kick
starts
and
to
now you
get,
start like wide
yeah,
left, wide right.
it gets into your head. And I'm just like, oh no, dude. Because I really like Jamar Chase, man. I really do. He's very good. But you got to catch the ball. And we'll see what happens with Joe Burrow in the regular season. But if it continues into the regular season, Y'all can't sit here and act like you're not concerned, bro.
No.
Preseason, I get it. Whatever. Who cares? Just shrug it off. Doesn't count. Whatever. We can pretend it never happened. But if it starts happening in the regular season, people's eyes are going to be like, because ultimately at the end of the day, like 5 years from now, if this is a huge if Jamar Chase is a bust in 5 years, like John Ross, right? Meanwhile, Penei Sewell is an all-pro tackle.
I was just about to go there. Like, you have Team Penei Sewell over here.
You're going to get shit on. Yeah, you're going to get shit on. It's just how it's going to go. So I love Joe Burrow, right? He is one of my favorite players in the NFL, and it makes me really like the Bengals because he's on that team. And therefore, I really pull for everybody that goes there. Please, Jamar Chase, catch the football, bro. Please. I don't want to have to hear, like I said, I'm not a Bengals fan, but I don't want to see the Bengals getting trashed for that draft pick because it's just going to hurt my feelings because I feel like the Bengals have just been a laughingstock for the last maybe 5 or 6 years now, ever since, they stopped being a playoff team. And it's just going to suck if Jamar Chase is not the guy, dude. That's going to suck so bad. The good news for the Bengals, though, is they have a lot of receivers, right? So it's like they didn't need Jamar Chase to be great. But you also don't want to waste your
opportunity cost of it, what you could have had. Like, you wasted a part. Like, say he turns out to be a bust. That exactly, like that Team Penei. Like, I'm sure Bengals that Bengals fan is divided 50-50. You had half of them rooting for Penei and half of them probably doing Jamar Chase, and you're just gonna be like, well, I told you so. You should have got Penei. And like, yes, they didn't need the wide receiver, but you never know what could have been.
Yeah, you don't want to waste the number 5 draft pick. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I hope not. No. All right.
Nobody on here is pulling for that.
No. I just want to. It's a hot topic, boys.
We're just talking about what we have seen on our screen. Is that Jamar Chase is having a problem catching the ball? That's it. That's all we're saying.
So we'll stay in the division for this one. So my team, just in case you guys are new here, the Baltimore Ravens took a huge blow this past game. The third preseason game, we lost our starting running back, J.K. Dobbins. I think he tore his ACL. And I think it's actually going to be, he might have also tore his LCO or MCL. I don't know the body parts, but it's looking pretty bad. He's going to at least be out for the entire season.
That's like what Teddy Bridgewater had. That's not good.
So the question that is on my mind as a fan was that 20-0 preseason record worth it, John Harbaugh? Because we just lost our starting running back. I mean, you have teams that are out here not playing a single starter, a single one.
Right.
But yet you have Lamar. You have pretty much all the number ones for a whole drive, and then now look what happened. Like the thing that people fear the most, because like I think Sean McVay started this whole thing where it's like, I'm not going to play a single starter for the whole entire preseason. And ever since that happened, it's been just everybody's been playing their backups. Everybody's been following his lead. So, like, everybody knows what you can get for starters, because I think the Rams that year when he did that, they went like 9-0, 8-0, something like that. So they like, okay, well, a team can still produce even though the starters are not playing in preseason. Yeah. So with that said,
because they know at that point, if you're in a positional battle, that's when you would play in the preseason, or if you're trying to make the team.
Right.
But at the point where you're a certified starter, no matter what,
what's the point?
I don't think you need these reps. Alvin Kamara didn't play a single millisecond.
Yeah.
I promise you he's going to be fine in week 1.
Yes.
I guarantee it.
Unless you're coming off an injury and you're just kind of trying to warm up, or you're a rookie that's trying to show off to see what you can do. Like, there's obviously the preseason is a big time for rookies and people that have been in injuries and they're just trying to get back into the swing of things, like Saquon Barkley. But I mean, me as a Ravens fan, I don't think it was worth it. I'd rather be 19-1 and have J.K. Dobbins starting on week 1. That's just me personally.
Yeah,
who gives a damn about 20-0 in the preseason? Nobody. We can go 20-0 and then we can go like 0-5, and I'm gonna be pissed.
As a fan, watching your starters on the field is just anxiety-inducing, dude. Like when the Saints were playing the Jags, dude, we had, like, for example, Chauncey was on the field for the entire first half. I was like, bro, why is he still in the game? For what purpose is he still in the game? It didn't make any sense to me. I'm just like, bro, you just can't risk your starters, man, because they're so important. Like, yeah, every team has depth, but like your starters are so much better than your backups, bro. It's not even close. And when you're a team like us that has no corners, you can't afford to lose one. So
And I mean, I understand John Harbaugh's point of view because I did watch. I wanted answers immediately after that game, so I stayed and watched that media press conference. And John Harbaugh was just like, "Look, there is no preseason games. It's just games, and we're gonna play hard, and we're gonna win all these games." He doesn't really care about well, it doesn't matter or it does matter. They're just games to him. So getting behind that mental thought, okay, I get that. But why don't you trust your backups? It's not like we had a bad depth chart. You still had Gus Edwards, who is a beast. Then you have Tyson Williams. You have Justice Hill, and you got Walmart or Walmart Jr., whatever you want, Snoop, whatever you want to call him. Tyler Huntley. He is literally Lamar Jackson reincarnate. Okay, so it's just like, why do you need to put the starters in there when the backups are just as good? Maybe one level down. I think we could have won that game. I mean, we ended up winning that game. What, 37-3?
I think it would have been fine.
So we would have been fine with the backups.
And also, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
All right, who gives a shit about your preseason record, bro? I know they're undefeated and this whole winning streak and whatever, but like at the end of the day, it means nothing.
It means nothing
at all.
So.
And now your best running back is
and this was supposed to be a breakout
only going to
year
miss
for him,
one year.
Like, towards the end of that stretch there, I think he was like actually getting more reps maybe the last 6 or 7 games of last season, and he looked so good.
Mm-hmm.
I think he got like 600 or 700 yards within that stretch of time, which I think was the most among running backs. I don't know the stat, but he did really damn good. Just know that. And now we won't be able to see that. Now I won't know what I have. Maybe he might not even come back. Maybe we signed Todd Gurley. Maybe we signed Le'Veon Bell. Maybe we signed LaShawn McCoy. We don't know.
Le'Veon Bell?
We don't know. And for the record, obviously next man up. That's just football. That's just how it is. People get hurt. Next man up. The coach is going to do whatever is best for the team to get wins. I get that. But man, like, I hope it was worth it, because now that pick that you were so excited about in last year, I saw you, John Harbaugh, jumping up and down on your desk when you picked J.K. Dobbins, bro. Like, you were excited to get him, and look what happened. I'm upset.
If it's all those ligaments, he might miss more than 1 year too. It might be like a year and a half.
And people do come back from that.
Yeah, they do, but it's a lot longer than just.
Not everybody is like Adrian Peterson.
Right, Adrian Peterson's a fucking robot. And by the way, now that you just mentioned Adrian Peterson, bro, fuck Todd Gurley, fuck Le'Veon Bell, dude, AP, man, he's still got it, bro. We just watched him last year. He still got.
Yeah.
And in the Ravens scheme.
Yeah.
He now that you just brought that up, that's the first time I thought about it. That's the first time that came into my head. I've been thinking about Todd Gurley a lot for the Ravens.
Adrian Peterson,
bro.
That'd be amazing.
To me, has shown more than Todd. Well, Todd Gurley was okay with the Falcons, but he's shown more than Le'Veon Bell and McCoy in the last 2 years. I've seen way more from AP, despite his age.
I'm sure John is kind of seeing his options. Like, he's trying to see who's getting cut from these 53-man roster cuts. I'm sure he's just kind of sitting back and see, him and oh, man. GM. But
I would love AP for the Ravens.
We'll see. I just had to bring that up because obviously my fandom. I got to bring it up. We'll move on. Let's talk about the Raiders. What is John Gruden doing?
John Brown signed with the Raiders, played there for 2 months, and decided no thank you, and asked for a release, and he got it.
Didn't Antonio Brown do the same thing?
I don't know if Antonio Brown asked for a release. I think that was just back when he was being really weird.
Yeah.
He was in the Raiders when he froze his feet or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And so they just cut him. But what's going on there? Like he wanted to go to the Raiders, and then after being there and experiencing the Raiders, he wants to not be there anymore. That's very interesting.
I don't know what's up with this team. Are they good? Are they bad? Do they want to be good? I mean,
I think it's John Gruden, bro. I really do.
I do too.
I think
and
there's something with John Gruden that people just are not responding to in the Raiders, man.
And it's funny because I actually saw an interview with Joe McCoy, who's actually on the Raiders right now, and he was just talking so much praise about John Gruden, how he's a real players coach, and there's a lot of people that say they're players coaches, but apparently John Gruden is the definition of that, and like how he's so good with the players and blah 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 blah. But at the same time, okay, you're trying to get Khalil Mack back after getting rid of him, and
that's so funny. That's a joke.
I don't understand what this team is trying to do. I mean, you kind of messed up the draft a little bit. I'm still gonna get you guys on about that. Alex Leatherwood, come on. But I did like the Trevon Moehrig pick. I do. I mean, it's just this team doesn't make sense to me sometimes. And there is talent there. I mean, Hunter Renfrow is apparently burning Ramsey sometimes. I mean, you got Henry Ruggs. You got a good run game. I like Derek Carr, I guess, for what it is. I mean, he's not the worst. He's definitely not. I mean, he's good. Defense
Yeah.
is okay, but I just don't know. It seems like players come in, they come out. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I think Gerald McCoy was just being a nice guy.
Well, he's on
What,
camera alone.
what are you gonna say? Oh, he sucks
Yeah,
on camera? No,
yeah. He
bro.
was on the Colin Cowherd, the Herd, that show.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, obviously, you're not going to say something that's going to put your team on the map for a media
yeah.
blast.
That's
And
my only thing.
you
It's
don't
just
know.
like, this. We've talked about this a couple of times, but it's just too good to be going 8-8 every year. Like there's nothing wrong with Derek Carr. He's not bad. He's not the best in the world, but Derek Carr on like the Broncos, that team's winning like 11 or 12 games. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just very weird that John Brown was like, obviously you sign with the Raiders, you're excited to go there, right? You don't just sign a contract for no reason.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to the Raiders. You left the Bills, bro. I'm going to the Raiders. I went from the Bills, who are maybe going to make the Super Bowl this
Yeah,
year, but
what
I'm going
are
to go
you
play for the
doing?
Raiders, man. And then he gets there, and the preseason goes by, and he's like, yeah, nope, never mind. Release me. And watch him go back. Like, imagine he goes back to the Bills. First of all, Saints, please make a phone call, dude. Like, come on. How many receivers are we going to just allow to be free agents and not call them? Come on, please. But I'm
I
just
just
going
don't
to
get
leave
it.
that there.
Why did he even leave the Bills in
Yeah.
the first place? I mean, even if you're
I
behind Cole
don't know.
Beasley and Stephon Diggs and whatever, just ride on the bench, get
Yeah.
you a ring. You know they're going to get it within the next couple. Josh Allen is playing some good ass football. Okay, like this
Josh
kid is
Allen looks
crazy.
absolutely incredible. Yeah.
So it's just like
It's
sit on the bench.
incredible.
Who cares if you don't start, bro? Just get a ring. Play the Antonio Brown role. Just come in there for a
Right.
snap. Get a pass here and there. Get a ring. Stupid.
I don't know. Maybe he'll go back to the Bills.
I mean, I guess the Ravens will take him. We already had him one time. That'll just add to our speed demon type of whatever. Marquise Brown, John Brown. I mean, whatever. All right. The last thing that we have on the docket, I think, the 49ers. We've seen Kyle Shanahan talk about how, Jimmy G is going to be the starter, and that's not a debate. Lance is done good. But I wanted to bring this up because I thought it was very interesting what they did with their last preseason game. He's experimenting with a 2 quarterback system. He was saying that based on the situation, based on whatever was going on, he would pick a quarterback to do whatever needs to be done. And I don't think we've ever seen something like that actually work in the NFL. Not that I remember.
Because for me, I feel like that helps you be predictable. Maybe it's just me
Like, hey,
though.
you're going to bring in Lance to run, or you're going to bring in Lance to run. Jimmy G's going to
Yeah.
throw, and based on the quarterback that's in at the moment, we're gonna play defense based on that. Like, I believe that's what I
Now,
think as well.
while I say that, it being predictable, people still have not been able to figure out the Taysom Hill thing. When he comes in at quarterback, they just somehow are not able to stop him from running. So maybe that's just kind of but it's still in my head. I feel like Trey Lance doesn't necessarily have the running prowess of Taysom Hill, so it's a little bit different. I feel like if you're bringing in Trey Lance, it's probably because you need to yeet that bitch. So you're gonna back up, because Jimmy G has shown a tendency to underthrow, especially in the Super Bowl. We saw that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Trey Lance in the preseason multiple times can sling. So
Yeah.
if he's coming in the game, what do you think's about to happen? One of two things: they need a mobile quarterback for a read option, or
He's going to sling it,
a play action. Yeah, a deep play action pass.
which could still hurt the
So
defense. I mean,
it could
you're
still
going to
work.
play
Like I
up
said, it
for
works with
the
Taysom Hill.
option read, but at that point, why even have Jimmy
Yeah.
G at all? Just have Lance, because
I agree because I think Trey Lance is way better. From what I've seen, Trey Lance just looks great. I haven't seen nothing wrong with him at all. I don't see their offensive line is great. I see no reason to be worried about his protection. The only thing I could think of is they don't want their $160 million quarterback being a backup. That's the only thing I
probably
could
it.
think of, to be honest with you. Yeah.
No, I just
They're waiting to find a trade partner, and if they don't find one, then Trey Lance just has to wait. I feel like because it's just embarrassing to admit that you paid this guy this much money, and now he's on the bench. I understand that from
like
a team
this is the
perspective.
highest paid quarterback I've ever seen to just hand the ball off 20 billion
But
times a
Jimmy
game.
Garoppolo is simply just not good, in my opinion.
No, that was a
We saw what happened in the Super Bowl when it came time to where he had to pass, right? Because the lead was blown. The Chiefs came back, and it's like, oh, shit, we have to pass the ball now. And you saw what happened. And even after the game, Tyrann Mathieu was like, thank God they started passing
yeah.
because that made it easy for us on defense. Literally, that's what he said.
Damn.
So
Damn.
it's
Okay.
clear to me that Trey Lance gives you the best chance
Well,
to win, but whatever.
let's play that. Let's play that out. So let's just say, same thing happens. Jimmy G starts. They do this little 2 quarterback experiment, and then say by like week 6 or 7, do you keep Jimmy G? Do you bench him? Like, what do you think the market is for Jimmy G? Like,
I think the market for Jimmy G is ass cheeks, dude. I gotta be honest with you.
he's not going nowhere.
Because I have a hard time thinking of teams that need a quarterback so bad that they would trade for Jimmy
But Jimmy
G.
G's like not your. He's not good. He's good at
He's
handing the
not.
ball off. So I guess
The
a
only
team that's
one-
rush heavy.
The only one was the Patriots, but until they drafted Mac Jones, that was the only team that I was like, well, maybe they'll just bring him back.
Damn.
But like we talked about earlier, Houston has no reason to try to get a quarterback right now. And then I look at the rest of the teams, and I just don't see a hole big enough to pay that much money for Jimmy G, man.
Yeah. It seems like there's a lot of mediocre quarterbacks that are about to be ready to find a team, and like there's just not going to be a good market because this quarterback draft was so good that it just
Yeah.
I forgot there was a
lot of
stat that
holes
I
were
saw
filled.
that was like, okay, out of all the first round quarterback picks, only maybe 5 or something like that. There was a low amount that was actually ended up being stars. They ended up being really good.
Mhm.
So it's just like obviously are all 4 or 5 quarterbacks going to be really great between Mac, Lance, Justin, Trevor, and Zach? Are they all going to be stars? I don't know, but
Yeah, it's looking like it.
I mean at that
so
point,
far.
like if assuming they all are, I mean where's the market for Cam, for Jimmy G, for guys that just need a home? Maybe Jimmy G can
Yeah,
be
it's not
backup
looking
somewhere. Maybe he's a high end backup. Don't know.
But you just can't pay that much for a backup is the problem.
You got to swallow your pride.
They might have to eat some of that contract and waive him or something like that. I don't think they're going to be able to trade him at this point. They might have to do what the Eagles did with Carson Wentz, and they're still paying him, but they had to do something to get at least some kind of draft pick for him.
Lots of questions. No, this preseason was extremely fun to watch. For me at least. Like,
It was because it was more so than usual because of how many rookie quarterbacks there are that you just mentioned. That made it fun to watch.
Yeah, and it seems like they're all legit, which is crazy because, like, okay, you would think, well, for Ohio State quarterbacks, like, how many of them have actually turned out to be really good? But Justin Fields looks
Right.
amazing.
He does.
Wow, a lot of fun, a lot of watching. I know that week 1's just gonna be great. I'm excited, guys. I really am. A lot of crazy games. We're gonna see Mac versus Tua. We're gonna see Trevor and the Texans. We're gonna see a lot of good games.
Famous
Jameis
Jameis
is
not playing in New Orleans. I'm sad, man. Fuck. That was gonna be so sick, dude. The first game in New Orleans, Green Bay coming to town on, I believe that's a Sunday night game.
So you guys going to Green Bay?
We're playing in some. No, we're playing. It's still going to be technically a home game. They're looking at. I heard something about college stadiums.
Oh, interesting.
I'm assuming like
LSU?
in Texas maybe. Or,
No, I'm done.
well, no, they're not going to stay in Louisiana. I think they're going to look at
In
playing
Texas?
in Texas probably. Yeah, maybe like I don't know who has a big stadium over there. Obviously, you have
Longhorns?
the University of Texas. Yeah, but I would imagine they're going to look for a dome to simulate the experience, but you never know.
Wow.
Just sucks, man. That was such a big. That was gonna be so freaking loud, dude. A full
Full stadium?
Superdome.
Yeah, for real. That's the first time in
against
the
the
whole year.
Packers, with Jameis Winston
The
starting for the
Caesars
first time.
Superdome. Rockin'.
Yeah, really disappointing, but they'll be back. They'll be back. The next 2 games are on the road, and I'm assuming they're gonna try to be back
Yeah, you should.
for week 4.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
what's week 4? Is that still September or October at that point?
It's going to be in October.
Yeah, so I'm hoping Louisiana is,
I hope so, man.
recovered.
Sad times.
Yeah. Shoot. Well, is there any big other topics that we haven't gone over that we didn't have on the docket? I mean, I kind of brought on the Jamar Chase on the fly.
Sure there is. I'm sure there is, but I can't think of anything right now.
Well, comment section, this is where you guys come in. I mean, if there's like a huge thing that you wanted us to go over, we can go over it next week. I mean, we're still not in week 1 yet next week. So, hey, if you want us to go over and talk about something, you want our opinions on something, let us know. Let us know what you guys thought about all of these things that are happening. We try to just fit in all the crazy topics over the past couple weeks into one podcast. And I'm sure we could have elaborated on a lot of these topics way longer, but we're usually slated for like an hour and a half. So guys, let us know what you think. Like it if you like the video, if you actually enjoyed it, our commentary there. Sub if you haven't already subbed. I know it's a fairly new channel and we were kind of away for a few weeks, but hey, we do appreciate the support. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about before we go?
No, not really. I've watched the Spider-Man trailer about 16 times today.
Oh God, I'm still.
I was watching reactions to it. I'm like, oh my fucking God, dude.
Guys, if you guys want a show to watch What If on Disney Plus.
Yo, yeah, I gotta catch up. I've only watched the first one.
If you guys are any type of MCU fans, the last episode was about let's see, there was the Black Panther episode, which I really enjoyed. That was actually Chad Boseman. Did I say it? Chadwick Boseman. That was his last voice over before he passed away. So if you want to hear his voice one more time and just kind of appreciate his greatness one more time, watch that episode. And I think the last one, what was the last one about? I forgot entirely. Doesn't matter. What If is a great show. And Shang-Chi comes out this Friday. So again, great time for Marvel fans as well.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, that's going to be it for this episode, guys. If you appreciate it, if you pray it, what am I trying to say? If you liked what you saw today, hit the like button, hit the sub button, and we will catch you guys next time.
Yes, sir.
Peace out, guys.
Peace.